I heard that turtles will eat once every 6 months. It's like once every 3 months or so. Is that true? How you doing, buddy? This guy, he's not scared. He's just chilling. He's cruising. How you doing, buddy? You guys eat like once every couple months or even like 6 months. Is that true? Is that true? Is that true? Because we eat less. It's beautiful. Hey, buddy. How are you? Big old claws. Big old claws on him, though. I don't know. Hey, buddy. Say hi. Say hi to everybody on YouTube. Say hi, everybody on YouTube. I'm Mr. Turtle. Beautiful. Put you down where you're going. Have a good day. Last August, on the hottest day of the entire year in San Francisco, actually the hottest day in history, I began sungazing. I heard about it from watching on video. I heard about it from Casey Constantine, who told me about this guy called HRM. And HRM had done these lectures around the world about sungazing. But not only did he do lectures, he actually had, in 2000, 2001, he had his body studied for 410 days in front of scientists, funded by NASA and published in peer-reviewed journals, what it was like to be without food for 410 days and live off of sunshine and water and buttermilk. And so they published his studies and found out like what it was like, what happened, and NASA was, the guys, NASA funded the project. They were blown away on like what this could do, what their findings were. At the end of it, and what they discovered was that his pineal gland had enlarged. He was a man in his 60s. Pineal gland doesn't enlarge when you're in your 60s. Not only did his pineal gland enlarge, but he was fine. His health was great, and he hadn't had any food for 410 days. Water and buttermilk, that was it. So he was just living on sunlight, and he was taking it in optically. And so that kind of like proved to me any skepticism. When I read that, I'm like, this is real. These scientists studied this guy's body, it was no joke. So it took me another couple weeks or so before I was like, oh, all of a sudden it was the right day. It was early in the morning, and it turned out to be the hottest day in history in San Francisco, and it was the perfect day for me to remember, like monumental day. I started doing it. It was just for 10 seconds, but I felt good, and I shot a video about my experience of doing it that first day. I'll link it in here, right there. So in one of HRM's lectures, he talked about how tortoises, I was just holding one up there, they can go without food for 3 months, 6 months, even a year, I guess even sometimes 2 years. I don't know if that's true, but I do know that turtles are known to live a long time. A healthy turtle could live 50 years to 100 years. And I think there's even stories of some turtles living like over 1,000 years. I mean, I think there's some really, really old turtles. And what HRM mentioned that made sense to me is the fact that they don't eat. They're not eating food. And I mean, they are eating, but they're eating limitedly. Very, very, very limitedly. They're surviving on sunlight. Surviving on nature that's giving them all the nutrients that they need through the sun, taking it into their eyes. So if we want to live longer and be healthier, then I had to start training myself to find a way to live without as much food for now, and going more into raw food diet and to living more in nature. So I've started doing cold training. I'm doing sun gazing, where the sun gazing helps with my hunger. And the idea is that, you know, it's not only is it helping to extend the life, it makes me happy, it makes me fulfilled, it makes me satisfied, and actually gives me the vitamin A and the vitamins that you can only get optically. You can get vitamin D produced through the skin when you go out and sunbathing. But another method for how to like delay hunger, and when you're doing intermittent fasting, eating one meal a day, you know, these little strategies are a game changer. It's something to do, an activity to do that helps suppress the hunger, and also it may in fact give superhuman strength. It's proven that HRM's pineal gland grew. Now the pineal gland is the third eye, and anyone who's spiritual out there, yeah, we want to enhance our pineal gland to enhance our third eye, to be more connected with source spiritually. And the problem is we got all this water that's got fluoride in it, and food that's got fluoride in it, and lotions that have fluoride everywhere. So it's a constant detoxification where we have to remove the fluoride, decalcify our pineal gland, because it gets stored up in our third eye, it's our pineal gland. And so by looking at the sun, we can not only suppress our hunger, like live longer like a turtle would by eating less, but we can decalcify our pineal gland and truly find bliss, man, because sun gazing is bliss. And I'll tell you, I was doing sun gazing before. I would do after. I would do cold training. If you could time it, I mean, it's ideal. If you have a beautiful sunshine like we do in California here, get a little cold water first, and then go out and look at the sun. And I'll tell you, one thing you could do, an idea on the sun gazing that I've learned from Calvin Howard, who's a master, sun gazing master out there, is like when the sun's too bright for you to look at, you do he calls it 40 days and 40 nights. What you do is you cover your eye. So you just go like this. You look straight at the sun with one eye for 40 seconds, and straight at the sun with the other eye for 40 seconds. And you go back and forth. The way I did it was like, I just looked straight at the sun for like 9 minutes with one eye, and then 9 minutes to the other eye. That was just, but then again, I'm really advanced, and that's like noonday sun. So my eyes are so trained right now to where in the high noon sun, the ultraviolet's like 2 or less, I could look straight at it with one eye, 9 minutes, no problem. And the sun's really black. It's really dark at that time. It's really interesting how it's like got a ring of fire around it, and it's got a black inside. Sun, man, it's just our friend. One of the other things is to remember, when you surrender to the sun, and like we love the sun, we worship the sun, and we praise the sun by looking at it, by surrendering to it. Well, you know, every other planet, every other being, every other species also must abide, because the sun's the boss. Everything, think about it, the sun's the boss. Galactically, in our universe, our solar system, surrendering to the sun, taking its power in optically, we're like aligning, I'm like aligning myself with it. By taking in that sun, I'm able to align myself with the almighty power of our universe. And really, whether you believe in God or not doesn't really matter, because there is a God. You don't have to believe. We have a creator. You know, the truth is, though, is that, you know, we have this amazing force in our own, you know, environment, the sun, where the sun is the boss in our physical world. And so by kind of surrendering to that sun and taking in the power optically, just through one eye at a time if it's too bright, like during the day, you know, otherwise, first when it comes up, you can look at it with 2 eyes. Or when it goes down, you can look at it with 2 eyes as well, like 1 hour before sunset. A good way to check is look at the ultraviolet index on your phone. I use a Yahoo weather app, and right on there it says what the ultraviolet index is. If it's under 2, it's not harmful anyways. You're not gonna go blind. I mean, under 0, you're definitely good. But usually if it's under 2, you're still really good. if it's over that, you know, you might want to be careful. So depending on where you're at in the world, right now in this time of season, it's going to be less. Go out, surrender to the power. Son, bro, it's changed me. Subscribe, like, comment. If you like comments like content like this, it'll change your freaking life. Change mine.